It's Sylvester doing another ASMR video. I'm sorry if you can hear a dog howling in the background. That's my neighbor's dog. I can't really do anything about it, so I'm sorry if you can hear that. Anyways, I wanted to talk about my relationship with Christmas because I have a bit of a complicated relationship with Christmas. Now, for a long time, I used to be a bit of a Scrooge, a bit of a Grinch. I didn't like Christmas, and it's not because I didn't like the idea of Christmas. It's more because my depression would get really bad around Christmas, and I think that's kind of normal. I think a lot of people get really bad depression around Christmas time, but for me, it definitely was a very depressing time of year. In fact, one year on Christmas Day, I tried to kill myself. So, I'm not going to go into any more detail than that, so don't worry. But, yeah, I did try to commit suicide on Christmas Day one year in high school. So, suffice it to say, Christmas was a hard time of year for me. However, sometime in the early 2020s, I started to be really into Christmas, and I don't know why. I'm not really sure what changed, but something about the Christmas season just started to bring me a lot of joy. I like Christmas decorations. I like Christmas lights. I like seeing all of the houses lit up, and I like to see all the different decorations, and there's just something kind of magical about Christmas, which I guess I don't really need to explain because for a lot of people, Christmas is a magical time of year, but that's something that that didn't really resonate with me until much later in my life. Now, I really like Christmas. I especially like Christmas lights and Christmas decorations, but I also like the idea of Christmas. I mean, a big part of what I like about Christmas is the fact that I get presents, which I feel like is kind of maybe a little bit materialistic, but what can I say? I am living in a material world, and I am a material boy, or something like that. So I like getting presents, kind of, for the most part. I'm also very picky about what I allow into my space. I don't live in a very big apartment, and I don't have a lot of room for stuff, so I don't like it when people give me just like useless stuff that I have to find room for in my apartment. It really stresses me out. Like, if you get me, I don't know, like a stuffed animal or something, it's gonna really stress me out because I'm gonna have to figure out somewhere to put it. And again, I don't have a very big apartment, so I don't have a lot of place to put stuff. And I'm kind of a minimalist in that I don't like to have a ton of things. And so, receiving gifts can be kind of stressful for me, but it's also kind of nice. I like getting presents. I like people giving me things, especially if it's stuff that I asked for and it's stuff that I actually need/want. Then I really like getting presents. I also like giving presents, but I live in poverty because I am disabled and I live on disability support, and so I don't have a lot of money to give people presents, which kind of bums me out because if I was super wealthy, I would just shower everyone I love with gifts this time of year. I would give people so many presents if I had a lot of money, but unfortunately I don't have a lot of money, and so it kind of, again, it bums me out because I don't feel like I'm able to really pull my weight in a lot of ways. I'm not able to give the amount of gifts that I wish I could this time of year. Like, I have this one neighbor, and I know I said in a previous video that I wouldn't talk about people in my real life on my YouTube channel anymore, but I'm like 99.9% sure that this guy doesn't watch my videos, so I think it's fine. But there's this guy who lives in my building, and he's such a nice guy, and he gives me presents every year, and it makes me feel so guilty because I don't have the money to give him presents back. I give him a card, but I don't have money to give him presents, and it just also stresses me out because the presents he gives me are things that I don't necessarily need, and it's just more stuff that I don't have room for. And so I feel so grateful that this guy thinks of me and gives me presents, but at the same time it stresses me out. I don't like I don't like getting stuff that I don't have need for, you know what I mean? Anyways, I've spoken many times on this channel about my relationship with organized religion, specifically my relationship with Christianity, and you may know that I do not consider myself to be a Christian. I am a spiritual person, but I'm not necessarily a religious person. And if there was any religion that really spoke to me, it would be Tibetan Buddhism. But I don't necessarily think that I'm really a Tibetan Buddhist. I think I'm just kind of a spiritual person who likes Tibetan Buddhism, but I wouldn't say that I follow Tibetan Buddhism, you know what I mean? So it feels almost like religious appropriation for me to even celebrate Christmas, because I know for a lot of people Christmas is about Jesus, but to me Christianity it's not my thing, it's not that I don't like it, it's just that I don't feel like it calls to me. I don't feel necessarily like I am a Christian. So the fact that I even celebrate Christmas feels kind of blasphemous, but it's just something that I've always done. I've always celebrated Christmas from the day I was born. I've celebrated Christmas, and it's just a thing. And, yeah, I don't know. I feel like that there's probably some Christians out there who would be offended to find out that I celebrate Christmas despite not being a Christian. But I don't know. I celebrate Christmas despite not considering myself to be a Christian, so it is what it is. Anyways, I guess that's really all I had to say. I guess I didn't really have that much to say about the topic, but anyways, that's all. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Stay frosty. Bye.